And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Minecraft. All right. Well, I've finished up the design of the little solar area, and here it is. Kind of tweaked it around, got it looking good. Had to space them out a little bit more. So, yeah, they have a radius of 7. So I had to make sure there was enough space in here. And then we've got the center here, and that's going to hold the battery. This area in here right now doesn't have much because we're in the middle of crafting said battery, and yeah, it's gonna be a while. I'm right now crafting up, sort of pre-crafting some steel casings. Just wrapping up about 40,000 of these things, which is a lot. And once these are done, I'm going to kick off a craft for like 500 of the induction cells. And so I need the CPU that this is working on right now in order to do that. So, it's about 10 minutes or so before that finishes, which is a good time to say that we are on version 1.9 of the Builder's Pack. And lo and behold, we now have EnderIO installed. Oh, glorious. So all of the EnderIO conduits, all of the machines, all of the things. And one of the things I would like to try to get to as soon as I can is the EnderIO solution for transmitting power, which is the dimensional transceiver. This little guy here does the same job as the quantum entangleporter, but I have discovered that there is a limit with this thing. You can see the entangleporter has an internal buffer of 22.4 million RF. Well, that just happens to be the transfer limit. So I'm only able to push 22.4 million RF into this thing. And I kind of want to get that dimensional transceiver to see if we can push more power, because we've got the rainbow gen and we've got all of those solar banks, and yeah, our batteries are actually depleting a little bit. I'm trying to push power up to the orb, and there's a weird discrepancy. So I'm pushing here 22.4 million power into the quantum entangleporter on battery supply. And if I go up to this little guy here, so this is the battery supply output pushing into this thing. And for some reason, I'm only transferring 6.4 million RF. So where is the other like 18 million RF going? I don't know. I don't know if it's just being lost or what is going on, but there's a huge discrepancy between what's going in and what's coming out. And yeah, this isn't good. So let's see how we get into EnderIO. I haven't ever played with this new version, so we'll see what we need. I do know that we need to get an alloy smelter up and running. So if we look for the alloy smelter, there's two different ones now. There's the regular alloy smelter, which takes the machine chassis, which requires simple machine chassis with organic machine powder coatings, and that comes from a bunch of dye and comes from, you guessed it, the alloy smelter. And clippings and trimmings, interesting, comes from the sag mill. Interesting. Clippings and trimmings. That is an interesting thing. Okay, so the simple alloy smelter it uses the simple machine chassis, which uses the grains of infinity. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we may break off from normal just installing it directly. By default, the grains of infinity, the only way to get those, where would be grains? The grains of infinity. Usually the only way to get those is to set fire to bedrock, and you get a less than 50% chance on getting 1 grain of infinity. And that is really not, that's really not automatable. So we have added a recipe which basically smelts redstone into the grains of infinity. So let's get some redstone and go over to our redstone furnace bank here. And then let's set up some recipes for this since we need them. So 1 redstone equals 1 grain of infinity. I want to set up where my redstone furnace is at. Okay, so right in here, grains of infinity. Dun dun dun. Okay, so now that we have some grains of infinity and an ability to craft more of them, we can go ahead and craft up some machine chassis. Also of note, these ones with the quotation marks, the decoration blocks, I think this is their attempt at making these backwards compatible. Either that or, I don't know, something, I don't know what those actually do if that's not the regular thing. Okay, so simple alloy smelter. Let's get one of these. And we're going to need some gears. Can we even make stone gears? I don't even think we can. So let's get a couple stone gears. Oh, what are we missing? Really? We're missing a bucket? And some furnaces. There we go. Simple alloy smelter. Now, does this thing accept RF? It does. They added their own little power system. You see that little icon that looks like a little U and an I? They call it micro infinity, but it accepts RF just fine, which is good for us. So configure IO. This is now the system. Oh, it looks glorious. And the recipes, of course, electrical steel, energetic alloy. The first thing we're going to want, though, is to get to the regular alloy smelter. So what do we need for that? We are going to need this organic machine powder coating, which means, well, we're going to need some lapis powder, and we can kick that up in the pulverizer. So let's get a recipe. Lapis. Some lapis there. Go over my pulverizer bank. That's compactor. Where are my pulverizers? There they are. Okay, pulverizers go. And that gets us some lapis powder. Interesting. So pulverizer. There they are. Let's get those in here. Now we have some of that ready to go. Okay. Now we need crushed quartz powder. Okay. Quartz powder. Looks like just another quartz in a pulverizer, which is not Certus quartz, so it's nether quartz in the pulverizer. and crushed quartz. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Pulverizer. I'm going to put those on the top one. Okay, so now we got a couple more of those ingredients ready to go. And let's see. This needs energized bimetal gears, which uses energized alloy nuggets, which uses energized alloy ingots, which is an alloy smelter recipe. We'll get into this in a second. There's quite a lot to get done here, so a lot to automate as well. I just want to get up to the ability to craft a regular alloy smelter. Okay, simple machine chassis. I think we can go ahead and auto-craft that. The number of recipes that we have available, we may end up having to expand the assembler system, but I want to wait on that. Okay, so energized alloy nuggets can only be done in the alloy smelter. So how do you how do you use the regular smelter? Oh, we can do it. Okay, this does mark itself as, so redstone, gold, and glowstone dust. Let's get a stack of each of those. Redstone, gold, and glowstone dust. Let's put one of each of these in here. This may take a while. Oh, look at that. Is it going to take a while? Wow. That's crazy. Okay. So, we got, we're working on the bimetal now. Interesting, that can be found in dungeon chests as well. Energized bimetal gear. Interesting. Okay. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to use the regular iron gears for that. Or maybe not. Do gear. Iron gear. Let's get 10 of those. See if this puts the iron gear. Oh, it doesn't. So that's not, that gear is, that's why, because it uses those grains of infinity. So we have to use this iron gear from EnderIO in order to do that. Okay, well that's fine. Okay, the next thing is, we got the quartz, we got the lapis. Now we need the organic black dye. Is another alloy smelter, which is crushed coal with a slime ball. We can also use tiny coal, and that might be the better option. I mean, coal, we're not really hurting on coal. We got lots of coal. But if you were starting out on a fresh world, of course, tiny coal would be the way to go there. Because, yeah, that would be a good way to go. Okay, how many of these? We got one done. I'm going to take the rest of those out. That is taking forever to get done. And we're going to get one more out of this. Look at that, 40. Oh, holy cow, that's slow. That's why I want to get to the next level of alloy smelter as soon as possible in order to get that stuff up and running. Okay, so furnaces are fine, iron is fine, cauldron is fine. We need a couple of these. And we need... The organic green is going to be tough. We're going to need some trimmings. Clippings. Oh, some use for our eggs. Look at that. We can use an egg and 6 clippings and trimmings to get organic dye.
Nice.
And there is going to be an effort to make this a little bit easier. These dyes that are involved are a little tedious, and I'd like to try to automate these. And we need a sag mill in order to actually get any of these things. So, I mean, grass, we could do cactus. That would be a good use for cactus. So we need a sag mill as well. Let's check out sag mill. Sag mill, right here. And of course we have a simple version of a sag mill. Okay. Let's get a machine chassis and get the simple sag mill, which is going to be stone gears again. Oh, what are we missing? Piston. Interesting. Okay, simple sag mill. This guy right here. Let him fill up with power. There's our 2 energetic alloys. We need to change these into nuggets. So I actually want to set that recipe up first. Just because I want some nuggets out of that. Alright, so the sag mill, let's get some cactus. Go over to this sag mill and throw the cactus in there. And it's slow as molasses again, of course. Let's see what we get out of this guy. At least he's a little faster. 7 clippings and trimmings. Okay. So that allows us to at least set up the recipes. And let's go down here. So organic dye. The organic green dye is clippings and trimmings and an egg. Let's grab some eggs. Go over here. We only got 5 that time. That's too bad. Okay. As this gets more and more clippings and trimmings, I'm just going to dump them in there. Now the black dye, that is going to be, again, we can use tiny coal and a slime. Some slime ball. Is the green one in there? Yes, this green one is in there. Good. So I think I'm going to use tiny coal. So let me grab some coal, because tiny coal is not in there. So we get 8 tiny coal from every coal. I think that's good. Okay, now I'm gonna let's just get like 64 of these. Now, black dye is 6 of those plus a slime. So there's that. I need like 5 slime. Give me 64 of those. So there's 5 slime. Going in. Let's grab what we've got here. There's some organic green dye. And again, we're thinking about switching this up. So this is not as tedious. to start out with. You know, some automated way of getting this dye or eliminating the dye altogether. I think this is kind of a ridiculous thing that the developers did. I don't know why they chose to do that this way, but it is what it is. And we'll automate this process. You know, we're going to go industrial scale with this kind of stuff, so not too worried. I think this is, yeah, using 6 at a time. So we got, how many of these left? Okay, 2 left. Ooh, I even got a little experience for that. Just a little. Yeah, and the regular versions will be able to be upgraded with capacitors, and that is going to make a huge difference in our ability to speed this process up. Oh. Okay, so this is going to be the last craft on that. So put away the eggs and the clippings and the trimmings. There's that. Let's put in these now. Wait, what? I can't put these in there? I thought for sure alloy smelter, tiny coal. Oh, this is a different tiny coal. Like a vastly different tiny coal. So which tiny coal is that? Tiny progressions. Okay, so I need stone hammer and some coal to make that tiny coal. Okay. So let's recraft that back into coal, and now we need a, what is that, a coal hammer or something? Tiny coal, stone hammer, hardened stone. I don't actually have any hardened stone. Just smelt that up. So in here, yeah. Okay.
No, we have to make a flamethrower and make the hardened stone.
Well, yeah, we could do that, but that's kind of a long path to get to that.
Kind of is. But flamethrower.
Yeah. So let's take some coal and put the hammer on there. So I need 30. Weird that that's a very specific type of tiny coal. There we go. Now we're talking. All right, so this episode we covered just the very beginnings of EnderIO, and I'm going to craft up some more of this stuff, and then we'll come back next time and go industrial scale on this stuff. Oh, there's some organic black dye. Not edible. Avoid contact with eyes. All right. Now I think we have enough to craft our very first. Let's see. Put this in there. And then finally we'll be able to craft some of this, which is a regular assembler recipe. And I can actually take this tiny coal out. Where'd that hammer go? There it is. Put this tiny coal. Since this is the one that's being used, might as well make that a craft. Clear that one out. All right, so this now is 6 of that organic matter. Can we craft 6 of this stuff? Wait, how much do we make at a time? We can. Oh, we make 9 at a time. Nice. I like that. It's not as harsh as I would have thought. So that and a simple machine chassis. Let's get one of those. Again, this goes into the alloy smelter. Ooh, look at all that. Look at all those advancements. So those and those. And that little process is going to take a little bit of time. But we'll get our very first regular standard alloy smelter going. And that is an important distinction. Because this little guy is slow. Yeah, max 5 power per tick. And yeah, so these recipes require, you know, so much power. And it's the EnderIO machines. Okay, alloy smelter. I want to set these up on autocraft. Oh yeah, we need those bimetal gears. So let's get that craziness going. And then alloy smelter. Recipe go. Because I'm going to want to make a few of these. And we're going to clear that. Put the machine chassis in. And grab our very first alloy smelter. Yes. And pop this guy away. Put this thing in. Wait. That goes away. Let's put this guy in. Yoink. There we go. Oh, see, it's wanting a capacitor. Otherwise, it cannot work. So that's a thing now. That's a thing. Okay, so capacitors, let's take a look at those. We have basic, double, and octatic. Octatic capacitors. Basics, we can do those pretty easily. These require energetic alloy, these require vibrant. So let's just get a basic and toss in there and see what she does. There we go. This does 20 power per tick. And so it's 4 times faster than the other one. We're going to do alloys only in here for now. We got plenty of furnaces around. We don't need any of that. So let me cook up some more energetic alloy, which is gold, glowstone dust, and I believe redstone. So point, point, point. Significantly faster. All right. And the vibrant alloy is an alloy of that energetic alloy plus an ender pearl. So we actually have a need for ender pearls now. Well, luckily we have 21,000 of them. Not too worried about ender pearls. And yeah, these are going to start ramping up. So I'm going to craft up. I'll craft up a few energetics and a handful of vibrants in between episodes. And we'll come back and use those to start ramping up our production, as well as figuring out where we're going to have all this stuff crafting. I'm thinking over here, next to this area over here. You know, we've got the mob farms and stuff, but you know, this wither farm is only operational when we desperately need nether stars, and we don't really have a need for them right now. We've got 167 left, and yeah, that's not as many as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, that will have to do it for this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.